What is going on with this tonight? I don't understand. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week. Oh, come on. Welcome to the Sports Report After Dark, everybody. My name is Tony, and I will be your host this evening. We are going to dive into the hottest topics of the week. One of the big topics we discussed a lot across sports media over the last few weeks is the um, what is it? There we go. Yeah, the hottest, the one of the biggest things that's been talked about a lot in sports media over the last few weeks is steroid use in professional sports. And Dan and I have gone round and round about this topic, but we ultimately can't stop talking about it. So we're going to talk about it some more. Got my co-host Dan the Dick Werner. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going, man? Yeah, we have really beaten that steroid thing like a dead horse.
It's like
and it's fantastic.
well there with Ray Rice, man. We have beaten the shit out of it.
It's fantastic because it is an awesome subject. Because I think we should let them all do it. I think everybody should be able to. I think it's a thing.
I think that we're past the point where we pretend that banning it is going to solve problems, especially because you get in situations like you have guys that were suspended because they used the wrong type of ringworm medication.
That's what they said anyway.
And I mean that's what they said. Obviously, you know, it's hearsay, but I mean, if what they tested for is in a ringworm medication, guess what? You gotta take it at face value.
Right. How many professional athletes do you think get ringworm on a yearly basis? 5, possibly 10 of all of them?
I mean, I don't know because I mean, you and I have been in weight rooms. You and I have both, you know, they didn't do us much good because we weren't as blessed as these individuals are.
Oh, fuck, speak for yourself, bud.
Yeah, I've seen you in person. I'm not that. I stand by what
I'm
I said.
not impressed.
I'm not impressed.
Not impressed.
It's, you know, athletes are fucking disgusting. And yes,
it's not true.
Professional sports teams do have people that are supposed to take care of these facilities, but athletes are fucking disgusting. And it wouldn't surprise me if something like that came in. Like, it was a bigger chance that it was a problem at the start of the year because you got guys coming in from all of these other nasty ass places that they've trained. And then you get exposed to that between, you know, the locker rooms, the workout rooms, the showers, all of that stuff. And
boy, you are really grasping at straws on this one.
I mean, listen, there are possibilities. And you know, our broken justice system says that we're supposed to, you know, prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean,
no.
there's plenty of reasons to doubt. You know, that's at least my opinion.
For sure. I mean, and 5 of them are coming out. I think it's what you're supposed to say if you get caught. When they tell you, like when they first give you the steroids, they're like, "Hey guys, these are steroids." I don't know how it happens, I guess, but like, "Hey guys, these are steroids," right? They just walk up to like a group of guys, they're like, "Guys, do these steroids." And A-Rob is like, "Yeah, totally doing those steroids." No, but like I think that they just tell you like, "Hey man, if you get caught, it's also a ringworm medication, so everybody just go with that, and we'll just use it as like the baseline." You're under the impression that like these fucking locker rooms are like, if it's if it's like single A, then there might be some ringworm crawling around in there. But like these guys are like training by themselves, and like, you think Shohei even like talks to his teammates? Like, clearly he doesn't actually talk to his team. Well, he does, but like he doesn't directly talk to his teammates, most of them anyway. Yamamoto, I guess now, but like
I think there are some that are like that, but no, Shohei specifically, I think he's probably one of the best guys to have in the locker room because he speaks multiple languages. Like
he's like a clean freak.
Oh yeah, there was a video that the Dodgers posted. I think it was on Instagram yesterday or today. And it was Shohei and Yamamoto hanging out with some of the Spanish-speaking teammates and learning new phrases. So, you know, they can say some nasty shit in Spanish.
For sure.
because it's
Oh, the chingalo. Yeah, it's fucking Papas Fritas. What?
wasn't it Ichiro that learned how to speak Spanish as his second language after Japanese, just so that he could talk shit to all the people you're
Yes.
playing against?
Yeah. Yeah. He just knew, like, they said he just knew, like, he knew like 5 phrases. Like, and he would just like throw all, like, but they were all just like badass, like coming to get you next time, like old school style ones, because he was like
Right.
so formal about it. Yeah, and like they were just hilarious apparently, like just fucking great.
Well, but that's and that's their culture. So to that point, oh, and we just lost Dan. We'll get him back in here. Technical issues be damned. But no, that's his culture. That is there we go. Okay. But no, that's his culture, man. Like and I think that so I can understand Shohei not being as balls to the wall about shit talking as we are and our friends to the south are. But
Our Hispanic friends to the south,
our Hispanic friends to the south.
we have a good Spanish speaking audience. They just turn the subtitles on.
They just turn the subtitles on.
Like,
I wonder if Pussy Juice Pancake translates to Spanish. I mean,
fucking loco gringos.
No, but I think that when it comes to steroid use, Lane said, "Yo quiero Taco Bell." Yes, I do want some fucking Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. I know it's not Mexican food, but I absolutely fucking love me some Taco Bell. Especially if I've been drinking or
yo is clearly a greeting, okay?
Yo is clearly
it's the same in English, all right? It's yo.
Yeah,
It's
I
yo,
wonder
what's up,
if people,
man?
I wonder if if cancel culture is going to come for people that say yo as appropriating somebody else's culture.
For sure.
It could be one day the PC police come to get you. You have to be Mexican to say yo.
Oh,
Could you?
man.
I guess they can't take it away from the Asian culture either, because they have so many different words that start with that you kind of have to.
We're super lucky that their PC police don't care about us. Oh boy,
we'd have to have fans for that to happen.
They get to go how far up back on my Facebook? Like, I went, guys. I went through an Edward Norton in American History X phase. Okay, I did. I'll admit it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was my summer 2010. All right, getting chest swazies. All right. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't look back there. Please don't look back that far. Please don't do that. Yeah.
But no. So what spurred my idea to talk about this was not just what our guest from Monday night's episode of the Sports Report said, which she was fucking fantastic. Talking about how we're going to leave guys like Barry Bonds out of the Hall of Fame when I just like, oh, she took me to church. I was praying. No, that was a different thing. Anyway, but no, like, and she was speaking the truth though. And then we look at, and then I saw a video. Today's Wednesday, so it would have been Tuesday. It was yesterday. Taylor Lewan, Bustin' the Boys podcast, used to play for the Titans. Was talking about how he he definitely thinks there's more going on than what people realize. Pat McAfee said in 2022 he was certain that there was a problem. And I think that we haven't really broached, as much as we've talked about it in baseball, we haven't really broached the subject in the NFL too much, other than, we'd be fine with it.
In the NFL.
In the NFL, right. So
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, I just off the top, every white guy. All right.
Every white guy.
Every single white guy.
If you're a white guy, especially if if you're a white guy and you play in a skill position, you're automatically allowed to use steroids just to make it fair. Besides
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's our porcelain angel.
You mean white Derrick Henry?
Yeah, he's our porcelain angel. He's kind of like you know what he reminds me of? Reminds me of Robert Smith. Remember Robert Smith? Vikings Robert Smith?
Oh yeah, okay.
Super fast, just had breakaway speed.
Good build.
Yeah, Robert Smith was a biracial angel.
He was.
But, he was also a doctor. Dr.
Really? I
Robert
didn't know
Smith.
that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he was a doctor while he played professional. Like he was for like a couple of years, like he was like going to school and shit. And like at 20, I think he just quit football because he was like, A, this is dumb. I get hit in the head a lot. B, I'm a doctor. I know this. C, he's like, I'm getting out of here. Like he's like, oh, I'm getting out of here. Not
I'm a
great.
doctor, I know this.
Not
Like
great.
that was the affirmation. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, played for the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yep.
actually, became a doctor. He actually the reason that he missed the COVID season was because it was optional, so he stayed in Canada and worked in the hospitals, getting some of his, time in that he needed to for, like, his residency time and stuff for finishing up medical school, and, yeah, he announced his retirement before the start of last season, and he's just up in Canada being a doctor now. It's crazy.
Like that guy is a fucking hero for one, but that is a nightmare of a name. Like
Hold on.
Levert Tardif.
So Lane, this is an interesting topic because Dan and I are, which and for those of you that you know maybe listening and not watching, Lane commented said, "I just hope we don't see steroids in high school sports. I fear it's coming." Here is where it can be beneficial. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because it should definitely be more about development at this point, and I can see how, and I can see where the problems would come in with steroids. But, and I'm sure Dan will sound off on this too. The main purpose behind utilizing steroids is going to be recovery.
In
And
principle.
like in principle, obviously there's deeper stuff with it, but in principle, recovery is the key piece. So when you give a high school athlete something that helps them recover, because they're going through a lot of physical wear and tear on their bodies at a young age while they're still developing. That recovery piece could keep them from their development being hampered by all of the physical shock that their body is experiencing that the average human body is not going to see at any point in their lifetime.
See, Lane, Tony's actually going to go down that road with the high school. I'm not even going to sniff on that one. I think that's a bad idea just because of the developing body. So steroids with high school athletes is like weed for high schoolers, like mental to physical. So like their developing brain, their developing body, probably not going to do the best for it. Not saying it's not beneficial at some point in their life after their body has developed.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But just these kids are too young. They'll do it wrong for one. It's not like it's going to get actually policed. So like the dudes who want to be the biggest are just going to be the fucking biggest because they're just going to just, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just going to be the most, you know, and they could still run like a Welshman. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't mean
he runs like a Welshman.
Like it runs like a Welshman, doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
And I see what you're saying. And my only thing is in my first line is when we're talking about steroid use at any level, and this is for me a big deal. There must be medical supervision for the and you know doctor involvement with any of these products because you need to make sure that it's the right dosage, it gets administered the correct way. We're not just injecting stuff up other people's buttholes. Like we don't need any of that going around. And I understand that especially with high school sports, accessibility is an issue, but Dan does raise a valid point about the potential of steroids
being harmful,
having, you know, being harmful to their development. And to that, yeah, I would want to see what the impact on that would be before I would be supportive of it. But again, my other thing comes back to doctor involvement regardless of the level where it comes in.
And Lane also says here, if you give high schoolers steroids, they could be addicted. It goes down the road of cross-gender athletics as well. The addiction thing, for sure. I mean, they definitely could get addicted to the feeling of being a fucking superhero for one.
Right.
That's kind of a thing. If their bodies are reactive to it. I mean, I've seen some 17-year-old dudes who are just as mature as a 25-year-old guy.
That's true.
So like it could work, and that's a slippery slope. And anybody who's anybody's crossing over into the The important thing to know about steroids, Tony, is that they don't actually make your penis smaller.
No, they make your balls shrink though.
Which actually makes your penis bigger. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Am I
and
wrong?
I already have tiny balls, so it's great. It doesn't. I mean, I have a tiny penis too, but like it's not hidden by my tiny balls.
Every girl I've ever been with has been able to go deep throat on it. Is that good? That's not good there. Like, just not even hard. It's like, it's not hard for them at all. It just goes right to the.
Yeah, my wife can breathe while she does it the whole time. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I've had shakes drank out of one side.
Yeah,
if that means anything to you. There's a lot of room over there.
Hashtag white privilege. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
No,
and still, I somehow just get to walk around like it's huge, right?
No, and Lane, you're right about the negative side effects, and that's why, you know, and that's where, for me, first of all, medical intervention is involved, but secondly, I would want to see, especially after Dan raised a point about development, I would want to see numbers that it's not going to negatively impact anything, and that it might actually be positive, because how many guys do you see going in that want to play football starting in their freshman year, but are people like me that didn't develop at the same rate? When I walked into school my freshman year, I was 4'11" and 95 pounds. If I stepped onto a football field, even with other high schoolers, I'm going to get lit the fuck up and I'm not going to want to touch it again.
As a sophomore, he looked exactly like he looks right now.
Yeah, it
was one year later.
That quick. I have not, height-wise, I have not grown since my sophomore year of high school.
It's the Seth Rogen helix, they call it in the DNA.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's just spliced in there, and it just becomes a. It sort of becomes
it doesn't help that I look like I could be any of the characters that Seth Rogen played. Like, if somebody told you that I was that I worked in an electronics store and I smoked a lot of weed all day and I worked with a guy that was a 40-year-old virgin, you'd be like, yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Like I said,
you look like Kung Fu Panda's best friend in a live action remake of Kung Fu Panda. You look like Jack Black's fucking that's gonna be Jack Black's sidekick.
I look like I could be Jack Black's son.
Like non-threatening to Jack, right? Which is hard to do. Okay.
Non-threatening.
He gets in pretty good shape for those Kung Fu Panda movies.
A
lot of yelling in it. A lot of yelling. That really works on your diaphragm. Like, he's got to have a solid core. Got great lungs. Got great lungs on him.
So, okay, so so we can agree that college would be the most appropriate place to start implementing, looking at the possibility of steroids when it comes to football. So now we have to look at what point, because the size of an incoming freshman versus the size of somebody at the same position as a junior or a senior, depending on the position, can range between 50 and 100 pounds.
It can, but in D1 it doesn't. Those guys get D1 scholarships because they are of size, or they have the potential to fill out frames. They just know that they're going to, within the 19-20 year range, it's gonna get to where they'll fill it out, and then they're looking forward on a lot of those guys. D1 schools, you're looking at guys almost the same size, but the conditioning involved and the knowing that you're gonna get, so the leap from high school to Division I is fucking huge. All right.
That's massive.
And the leap from Division I to the NFL is even bigger than that. So, like, it's just a whole different game. I think that more of the juniors and seniors, they're going to be in better shape. They're going to be in better shape to take the contact that college athletes take, right? Because it's not high school anymore. You're not the best player, most likely you're not the best player on the field anymore, right?
Right.
So, unless you're, LeBron.
Unless you're a scholarship athlete that is, first round draft pick. Yeah.
I'll drop something for Zamora last night, our guest. LeBron James could be a all-pro Hall of Fame tight end in the NFL.
Actually, Tony Gonzalez backed that. He said that he thought that if LeBron had gone into the NFL instead of basketball, that he would have been a Hall of Fame tight end.
He didn't want to because like you're better. He's better at basketball, obviously,
Right,
clearly. But
right,
like,
right, right.
say he just doesn't know how to play basketball for some reason. It doesn't make him the football player that he would have been. Right, granted, but at the same time, like if he just like is okay at basketball, which he
I
isn't.
I don't know. I would say the argument to that for me, basketball's out of the picture. He doesn't know how to play basketball. If the only thing you're taking out is the basketball, and LeBron still has that same mentality that he has, that he approaches the game of basketball with, I think that I think he's an elite tight end. I don't think it's just Hall of Fame. I think he's an elite tight end. I think he's pushing those numbers that Sharp and Gronk and Kelsey and Kittle have all done, and probably even pushed him further. I'm not saying he's the best, but I think he's easily in the conversation
On pure talent alone. Like
it's
he would have to have a completely different demeanor. It's obviously a hypothetical for a reason. I mean, he's
right. No, well, and for me, I think it's the mentality that he carries. Kobe was the first player, like for me, and I know that Jordan was a lot of people's when you talk about mentality, but I was a lot younger when Jordan got big.
yeah.
So for me, there wasn't as much of a connection. I didn't watch as much basketball back then, but by the time I got into basketball, Kobe was one of the biggest names in basketball. Jordan was tapering off, and as far as in the game is concerned. And Kobe's mentality, as I learned about Kobe as I got older, Kobe's mentality was very interesting, and I think it showed to the value of having a certain mentality as a professional athlete, because you have to be a fucking savage and you have to be all about that life.
And I don't think so. Like I've said this before, like I don't think LeBron is a killer. Like I don't think LeBron is the killer that Kobe and Jordan were. And by the way, Kobe takes a ton of shit, and Kobe gets knocked off a lot of like top 3, top 4 lists because he is a fucking carbon copy of Michael Jordan. Like it's the same player. Like he was the same. He did the same moves. He modeled his game after Jordan. Like
Yeah,
it was a thing. Like he was, and physically he couldn't have ended up in a better position, being exactly basically the same size. And like he had that mentality because he saw Jordan have that mentality. And by the way, I think about that often too. Like, would we think differently about like what I think differently about, and I know your kind of opinion on what I think differently about LeBron and Jordan if I saw Jordan in his prime. And the fact of it is, it has to be at that point, that convinces me that it has to be almost an aura thing. Okay. So it has to be like that he was Michael Jordan. He was Michael fucking Jeffrey Jesus Jordan. Like he was the dude.
well, and I see what you're saying, and I think that experience matters in that discussion, because there are people that watch Jordan in his prime, watch LeBron in his prime, and will bang the table for Jordan just as hard as there are people that were in the same experience that will bang the table for LeBron.
I've
And
met very few who will bang the table for LeBron that are of Jordan's era. I've met very few.
There is some age discrepancy there, but it does exist. It does.
They do.
It does exist, and and then it begs the question: what do we get out of Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe if they have access to steroids? What does that change? Do we see Kobe break Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game?
With in this particular conversation, it's really not. It's so much less valid for basketball because basketball is more of a game of athleticism as far as jumping, as far as sprint speed, as far as I mean, you got dude. Chet Holmgren's one of the best young players in basketball right now. Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama weighs 220 pounds. Somebody's 7'5". All right,
Yeah,
Chet
Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren looks like a crackhead, sort of, and sort of just a little bit.
I mean, he's got more meat on him, but he looks like he's coming back from it for sure.
He's tiny. And
like tiny. He plays
fucking, but he plays physical. Like
Chet Holmgren's physical.
Because he's young. It's because he's young and he's athletic and he's strong for how big he is. Like he's just big. He's big. He's gonna be big. Like it's gonna be hard. Do you know how hard it would be to fill a 7'5" frame? Do you know how hard that would
His
be to do?
knees
Impossible.
have got to be they've got to
Not
have to be
yet.
so much to take care of his knees.
Not yet.
No, even it, dude, because when you're that tall, the human body is not designed to typically be that tall,
That's why these
unless
guys are
you are
freaks.
somebody that grew up in an Arab family. Because I don't know, for those of you that are watching, maybe you don't know this, but there's a lot of 7-foot motherfuckers over in Middle East. Like it's actually not as uncommon as you would think.
Post that lane question real quick. I like that.
Hold on. Can
Just real,
Lillard score more with steroids?
it's an interesting conversation because of the he's asking because of the way Damian Lillard plays, which
Right.
is downhill. Like he shoots jump shots. He shoots jump shots. He fucking jumps off of the floor as high as he can and shoots a fully extended jump shot because he's 6 fucking foot tall. He might not be. He's 6'1". Like I think he's listed like 6'2" or something. He's
Right.
6', 6'1", and he plays above the rim, sort of, but he shoots like I don't think they help him. I don't think they help any basketball player that much besides guys that would have played the post.
Hold on, because I just had a thought on that. What about guys like Zion, Kawhi, and Anthony Davis?
Zion doesn't need him, but yes, those guys it would definitely help because that's their game is like the explosive like.
I'm just talking about the recovery piece.
Well, I mean, it would help everybody recovery wise. Lance Armstrong did steroids for fucking 10 straight years.
Right.
And you know why? Because he was getting his muscle fibers regrown. Like that was like he would just go out and bike. He'd be like, yeah, I biked 76 miles today. And they're like it was a light day. It's like, the fuck are you talking about? 76 miles? Like the fuck? Like, and he's just going out the next day, like, dude, like listed, yeah, he's listed at 6'3". So like he's not 6'3", but he plays,
No.
but he plays above the rim. He can drive. It's just he's more of a shooter now. But I think a guy who benefits it from like Derrick Rose would have benefited from a lot. I think Derrick Rose's explosive style. He's small. He's compact. Derrick Rose looked like he was on roids. He might have just been. I don't really know. But honestly, we probably look like idiots to these guys who actually know. They're like, yeah, he fucking was juicing, dumbass. I'm like, yeah, fucking. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on the show and tell us that then.
It's
none of you talk.
None of you
motherfuckers talk about it.
It's okay. So I want to circle back to the college football because obviously there's within football and baseball there's a bigger piece to it. So I want to get back with college football because Lane posted something earlier and it was an interesting point. Being a sports broadcaster, the last thing I want to see is a dominant team by 50 to 60 points every game.
We want everybody.
But when you level the playing field in the terms of giving everybody the same access to this at the college level, okay? There's still going to be a wide separation among your Power 5 schools to the other schools that are in the D1 but aren't Power 5 to D2 and D3 and all of this. Like there's obviously definitely going to be a difference there that I think could be amplified. So when we look at just the Power 5 schools, your any of your schools that are consistently in the top, we'll say 40. We'll even tighten it up to that.
Any D1 school.
Yeah. How do you keep it from being that every game when it's one of those schools? Like Alabama's playing UCLA for a tune-up game.
The athletes are so deep, dude. The athletes are so much deeper than they used to be. Like everybody has talent. Everybody has dudes fucking doing like there's not gonna be a 50, 60 point difference because the athlete pool is so deep. And with the transfer portal now, it's gonna be parity all over fucking college football, dude. Like they're gonna turn it into one big
left.
What's that?
So that's why Saban left.
Yeah, he was like, uh-oh, can't get everybody anymore. You can't just go in there and sell ketchup popsicles to their moms. Like, well, I'm Nick Saban, got all these rings. It's like, fucking who cares? Do you have money? Do you have money, Nick Saban? He's like, oh, well, no, not really. He's like, well, this other team has money. We're going to fucking Nebraska, all right? Matt Rule pays players, and he knows how to do it, okay? No, but like, just like it's such a weird thing now, but like, Oregon versus Portland State last year. Well, that's Portland State though. Portland State's Division 1 AA, I think. They're like they're an NAI school, not an NAI. They're fucking Division 1 AA.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're not a true
Big
D1
Sky.
school.
Yeah, Big Sky. That's French for they're not fucking Division One. It's the Big Sky. Anything big without a number behind it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a Division Two. But yeah, I mean, it's Oregon too. Oregon's got deep. They're deep. They got fucking athletes.
So
That's
much
a tune-up. It's a tune-up game for them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen every That doesn't happen every game. That doesn't happen every game by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot more parity now. Like, it used to be all the time. It was fucking there was Nebraska used to win, just roll their first 3 or 4 games. It was like they just roll because they were so much. There was like 10 or 12 teams that are just different. They were just different than everybody else. And now there's probably like 25 or 30 of them. Honestly, the top 25, I think any top 25 team could probably beat a number 1 or 2 being rated 25. That never would have happened in the 90s. Like in the 80s, never. 70s, never. Not a thing. Like the 24 ranked school might as well just not been a fucking contender because they weren't.
Yeah.
Because the athlete pool is so much deeper now. Like, everybody plays football now. There's all the athletes are coming out of the woodwork. The guys who didn't used to play.
Oregon.
The guys,
again, that's first of all Oregon. Second of all,
Utah's good though. Utah's always good. That's not even that bad of a score, honestly. That's 29 points. I mean, that's not.
I mean, yeah,
not 50 or 60. It's a blowout, but it's not. That's not fair.
I mean, when was the last time you heard somebody say that they wanted to be a professional football player and they were going to get there by going through Utah? Like
Alex Smith.
I mean, it's I mean, unless you're a Mormon going to Utah or BYU.
And we have a lot of Mormon fan base, so pump your brakes a little bit, all right?
I don't.
They're up there doing that fucking the bunk bed thing. You know about the bunk bed thing, right? Where they push their feet on the back of the other guys. Because everybody knows about this, right? Does anybody not know about this? Okay, long story short, guys. So, long story short, if you're Mormon, you can't act in having sex with somebody. This is how I understand it in my completely uneducated background of this. So you can't actually make the attempt to have sexual intercourse before you're married, right? But say your penis were to slip into a vagina and somebody were to move your butt from underneath on a bunk bed up and down into said vagina in a stroking motion, you would then be technically having sex, but not putting in your own volition into it. So there's a weird assaulty factor in the middle there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a threesome with extra steps.
Just hope your butt has a good calf game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my other thing with that is, why are the kids doing all of this shit? Why can't adults support each other like this? Because I know with how much my back pain is and all of that, like if somebody else was doing something where I didn't have to do the work and Martha still got hers. So
and Martha's seen my calves. All right. So she is fucking on board with this 100%. She's like, that guy has fucking incredible legs. Like, this might be an issue, Tony. Like, I'm going to leave you for Dan's calves.
Listen,
it's like,
boy,
they're single, Martha.
Started on calves. You and I both know that I have the sexiest tree trunks west of the Mississippi, but no below my knees. So
you look like SpongeBob, sort of. Like if SpongeBob is filled in underneath, like not didn't have the skin. Like,
you remember the episode of SpongeBob where he was trying to get into Weenie Hut, or no, it was when he went down to the beach and they were powerlifting at the beach, and so he got the inflatable arms.
I do not.
You do not? Oh, I'm gonna have to send you. Yeah, I'll have to find it and send you which episode it is.
I haven't gotten deep enough into the SpongeBob game, but SpongeBob probably has good thigh game though. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to.
He does not.
They're just ridiculous. They're just ridiculously skinny. Well, he's a sponge. Give him a fucking break. All right.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a self-aware sponge.
He's porous.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knows that. That's what show's all about.
So if you added at the college level, so I want to go back to this question.
Yeah.
If you added at the college level, where do you start it? From the beginning? Do you ramp up? Like, I mean, what's the process for getting kids? Because it's still an 18-year-old coming in as a freshman.
You do it in the off season. They're called cycles, Tony. Let me just educate you a little bit on doing steroids.
Okay.
They're called cycles. So you're going to do them in about 6 to 8 week regimens, and you're going to do it in the off season because you're going to be burning through. Like you're ramping up to during the season. You're not going to be doing because that's not training. Like during the season, it's just like hanging in there. Like you're just hacking it through the year at that point. Like you're at your
Right.
peak level of athleticism that you're going to be, and you're just like hacking it through all the injuries and all that stuff because you're just going to get injured constantly. Like it's going to happen. It's football. It's everybody plays with injuries all the time. It's a fucking thing. So like, would it be good? Maybe, but I feel like it's almost too turnover. Like you need stability. And like, dude, I would get fat. Like I'd get a little bit fat. I weighed 220 pounds, like because I had I had a little bit of fat on me because that's better to take all that contact. You don't want to be fucking ripped up. Look at all the ripped up running backs ever. Reggie Bush. We saw how that happened.
Oh,
Somebody
yeah,
just
for sure.
somebody just thumbs up me. What the fuck just happened?
No, I think that's like one of your, hold on, I wonder if it does it for me too.
Oh, I can do like a.
Is it? I don't know. Oh well.
No, somebody just thumbs up to me.
I don't know. I just work here.
We should probably know about the memes that pop on our faces whenever like we just do weird shit, right? I mean, we should be self-aware of that. But like, look at all the ripped up running backs. Saquon Barkley, how's he doing? Well, he's in New York, so not great, but like he has injury problems. Anybody who's ripped up as an athlete, name me the last like really like legitimately beefed up athlete that was like real good, like just jacked out of his gourd.
Well, I mean, and you look at especially your linemen on the offensive and defensive side. Most of them are usually 20 to 30 pounds heavy going into camp because they know that by the time week one gets there, they're going to have lost that weight.
Yes, for sure. And Lane said, I think you try with football under teams, doctor supervision, no treatments during fall sports. Yeah, right. That's basically what I'm saying.
The cycles in the off season, right?
Yeah, like, and you just get ramped up. Like, yeah, they definitely work. They definitely work. And they're to get you to a certain level, and then yeah, you play the season out because I think it is easy to get injured with them just because I think there's a lot of like there's muscle tightness. I know that for a fact.
Right.
There's different things that happen. Like I said, you get too bulky, your muscles become less elastic, so they're gonna tear, they're gonna pull.
Snap, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to get into just like a loose, like what was it? God damn it, the left tackle for the Bengals.
Scott Boston?
No, he's a dude on Fox now. He does the Fox games. Big dude, bald guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I feel like it's Witt something, but it's not. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about though. But big left tackle. He said that he hasn't lifted weights when he was on Cowherd. He said he hadn't lifted weights for 10 years. He said all he did. He said I'm strong enough. He goes, I know that I'm strong enough because I've always been strong enough. He goes, I stretch. He goes, I stretch so that I don't get injured. And he's like, I don't want to be real bulky. He's like, I want to be light. He's like, I want to be light on my feet. I want to be cushioned. So he gains fat. And he's like, and he wants to be more of like a pliable athlete because you have to be in football. Like it is about explosion, but it's also about like staying like flexible.
Right. Well, and when you have that flexibility, it's a lot easier to absorb that force when you take a hit, because a lot, like we've said multiple times, a lot of these guys, it's like you're taking the equivalent of a car crash every fucking play.
Yeah.
And, you could be on, if you're offensive or defensive, either way, you're probably looking at 30 to 40 snaps a game if you're a starter.
Especially with players that always get taken to the ground. So running backs, for example, that's why you've seen like this wave of running backs just being 3 a team and running back by committee is because they're outside of Derrick Henry, nobody holds up to the beating that running backs take. Like nobody does besides Derrick Henry. And even Derrick Henry's taking shots. I mean, he's huge. That's one of his things. It's like, obviously he's fucking huge. And that's a huge advantage to him to be that big and be linebacker size. But those are freaks. Like Derrick Henry's a freak. Those are diamond, those are generational talents that we're not talking about in a general sense. In a general sense, that's way too much to take every time getting taken to the ground by like 3 or 4 guys. Like linemen don't do that. Linemen come off, there's impact, and rarely do they actually even go to the ground. I mean, they do, but it's less than every fucking play because most running backs every play you're getting hit by you're the target of everybody's attention. So
Yeah, you're whether it's in a blocking fashion or when you actually have the ball in your hands, a running back takes physical hits pretty much every play when the offense is on the field. Unless you're in like an empty formation, you're,
right.
and if that running back is part of the empty formation out wide, guess what? They're still taking physical
Yeah.
hits.
And they did that for two reasons. That one right there, that they take less damage basically. And the second thing is that it keeps them fresh. So every single down that they're in, like they're going 100%. There's no tired running back. Like I'll tell you what, like I got 35, 40 carries a game when I was in high school. That is not okay. Like
No.
at some point I was running at about 60% because I was so fucking gassed. Like you get 4 or 5 carries in a row, you're going 100% fucking 100% the whole time. And it's like you're going to get gassed. It would have been awesome to switch out with somebody every other play. Fucking been awesome because I'd had a second, get you a quick drink, couple of breaths, you're back in, and then you can go 100% again. You can go 100% again, and it's fine. And that's why they did it, is so they could every single play they have a fucking running back that's on his first play. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a huge advantage. Everyone needs to be on their top of their game. As a quarterback in the NFL, fuck. I mean, wow. They do that now, Lane? You say the max
15?
the max CCs is 10 to 15. Well, they throw the ball all the time.
Yeah, it is when we
Well, he's saying no, but he's saying that's a team that runs triple option. I mean, so they run the ball. I mean, I got 35 to 40 in some games.
yeah, dude, when I mean, and you're not too much younger than me. When I was in high school, like, don't get me wrong, there was more passing when we were in high school than there was in years before, but as it expands in the NFL, it trickles back through college and into high school with how much that expands with what you're doing on offense. But it takes time before it picks up to the high school game. So yeah, it's that when I was in high school, they were still running 20 to 30 times a game.
Bro, I bet we ran 80% of the time. 80 to
Really?
90%.
That's
Yeah.
I just, man, I feel like that's a lot.
Well, you're gonna give it to 3-5, baby. You're gonna give it to 3-5. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But like, no, like, no, but like, yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have any other options, then I guess I could see it, but I feel like that's still a lot of wear and tear on your running back.
We ran triple option as well. I mean, we ran straight I mean, we ran triple option. Like we ran fake to the fullback, fake the fullback and then run the option. So like we had a running quarterback as well. So like that's
Okay.
kind of a different thing. Like he wasn't going to throw the ball. We didn't have our wide receivers were not great. Okay. They weren't great. They weren't great, but like, yeah, yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, it is team to team. Now every fucking recent high school football game I've seen, they're spreading it out. Dudes are throwing 35, 40 times a game. Like these guys are talent. Like and it doesn't mean you're not talented if you run the ball all the time. It just means that's how you were taught how to play football. And it's a different, like you almost mold your body and your mind and everything to have a different, mentality about like, we're not going to throw the ball and stretch it out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Well, and what I was gonna say is for me, I definitely feel like that's a lot. But when you get into the NFL, I think that the running back by committee exists now because of the running backs were getting paid a lot of money. Like it used to be quarterback, blindside, offensive lineman, and then running back. Those are your top 3 paid positions in football. And the running backs fell off because they kept getting injured. And teams realized that if you're just doing running back by committee and you have 3 average, especially because of the talent pool now, you have 3 average running backs that you can throw in various schemes and situations, it becomes a lot harder to plan for what's going to come from that running back because you don't know which one you're going to get. And you can preserve, imagine being able to make sure that you have Saquon Barkley healthy going into the postseason and knowing that there's a slim chance he's going to get injured because instead of taking 25 to 30 carries a game, he took 10.
Giants aren't making the postseason, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
And honestly, I don't think Saquon Barkley is a Giant next year. I don't think he's staying.
I think that he's definitely if he's at the beginning of the year, he won't be at the end of it.
You think he'll get traded at like a deadline trade?
Yeah, for sure. Lane, it says nowadays the running backs are able to play as a H back as well. I think I led my team in touchdown catches as well. So like it was literally just yeah, they just slotted me out, and I ran like fucking screens and shit. Yeah, it was like screens and reverses, and well, not reverses that isn't a catch, but yeah, I would run like a screen, and we would just have two wide receivers out front, just ISO. So it's like a little 3-on-2 action real quick, and I just try to confuse them and stuff. But we just didn't pass the ball. I mean, but I was also playing like mid-level high school Nebraska football, so like it's a lot of white guys. All right,
Were you guys a 2A or a 3A school?
We would be considered. Well, I was both because I would have been 2A my first 2 years, getting our asses kicked, playing like Omaha Scut and all those like Boys Town. Good luck. But like, yeah, good luck with all those guys. Division I athletes every year. They had guys that would like Vince Marshall and this dude named Eric Jackson that played linebacker at fucking like Washington State or something. They were always good. But like my first 2 years, we were the second largest class, but we were the smallest school in the second largest class in Nebraska. So we just got fucking rolled. Like I remember seniors when I was a fucking like freshman or sophomore, these senior dudes like won one game and like it was a riot. Like we had the biggest party of the year and it was like dudes were like crying on the field and shit. They won one fucking game. Like they upset an injury riddled Blair, Nebraska team like 17-10 on a nail biter, and they are out there fucking bawling their eyes out. And I'm like, this is not how I want to live my life at this point.
A W is a W, my friend.
A W comes out and it's just like you won fucking like fourth place. Like that just it was rough. It was rough. So like I also got to learn like that taught us a lot about fucking football though. Like when you get your ass kicked a little bit and you get your ass kicked every fucking play for like, dude, it happened for me for 2 years. Like I had 2 years, every fucking play, just getting my fucking ass kicked because we have nobody who's even athletically on the same level as these dudes that we're playing. So everyone's just getting through. There's fucking leaks everywhere. We're playing on a field that looks like a fucking dirt track for NASCAR. Oh, and like it was rough, dude. But then we went to what would be considered 3A. So it's C1. It's called C1 in Nebraska. So it's B. Oh, okay. There's A, B, C1, C2, and D1, D2. And then D1 starts as 8-man, which speed fucking kills at 8-man. By the way, if you're a sprinter, go play running back. Just go run as fast as you can to the corner. If you beat everybody, you're gone. You have one guy to beat. And if you can make one guy miss, it's over.
Man, I've watched some 8-man, and 8-man reminds me a lot of arena football, but you have a little bit more space.
It basically is.
That's really what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it basically is. Like it's.
And you know what? I think arena, because arena is 8-man. So that's probably why it reminds me of that. Because I remember when we used to have season tickets to the Arizona Rattlers. The fans were the 9th man.
Yep. It's only 50. It's only 50 yards, right?
Yeah.
Arena's only 50. Yeah. See,
dude, fast, and the hits are like the players are fast and the hits are dirty, man. It's insane.
They need to make. They need to probably make the field smaller. They need to make the field smaller for 8-man, probably. It's a little bit too big. There's a lot of lopsided scores in 8-man. Lane could probably attest to that. There's teams just rolling like I'm talking continuous clock at halftime because you're up fucking 42-0, like that kind of shit. That's happening all the time. Yeah, because if you have one guy who's just a legitimate athlete and is just fat, like once you get to the corner, and it's not like 11-man. You get to the corner in 11-man, you have a linebacker and a safety to beat. You get to the corner in 8-man, you're just beating a safety. You're one-on-one with the safety, and you're coming full speed around the corner, and he's got to get the angle on you. And if he's not a good safety, it's gone. You're just gone. You rest of the field.
I will say, I didn't mind arena football being 50 yards because it was a quicker game. It was definitely more offensive
Yeah.
Than the NFL. My biggest gripe with arena football wasn't the fact that it was only 50 yards long. It was the width of the field, like side
Was
to side. And I can't remember what it is. I think it's
25, I'm assuming. If they cut
no,
everything down in half, it's not 20. Like
no,
30?
I think it's like 20. It's not very long.
Really?
It's really not because when you like when teams set up and they go into a when arena football teams when they set up they go into a more spread type formation where you've got wideouts on both sides. Those wideouts are right next to the walls.
So 85 feet wide, so just under 30 yards, 27 and a half yards, something like that,
Okay,
right?
so I
No, that's not right. Yeah,
it,
yeah, 28 yards.
okay 28 yard, yeah, and that's the thing for me. That was always my biggest gripe with arena footballs because you would see wide receivers lining up before the snap and they can touch the walls
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and for me, that's just I think that's a little tight. Um, and with arena football, you've got to have those barriers there because the other side of that wall, the only difference between the barriers in arena football and arenas and the hockey barriers is the glass on top of it. That's the only
Yeah.
difference. It's literally the same fucking boards.
Yeah.
Um, and the number of times that I watch guys get concussions because they took a shot into that wall.
Yeah.
I remember in '97, the year that I watched the Rattlers beat Kurt Warner in the Arena Bowl. Earlier in that season, one of their defensive linemen, his name was Tony Henderson. He's this big fucking black guy, one of the nicest guys in the world, though. I was also a kid, so that could have been why I thought so. But anyway, like I watched him take an absolute fucking shot off into the wall from a player. He went into the stands and he was unconscious, laying on fan laps,
Snoring.
just out.
Yeah.
They had to take him out. They had to take him out in an ambulance.
Yeah. See,
Um,
there shouldn't be solid objects. There shouldn't be solidity in football as far as like barriers. You shouldn't
that
ever get close enough to a barrier that you can hit it because you're going full out. There's no bracing for that usually. If you're that close to it, which in football you don't see it because they're not that close to the fucking walls. Like there's no the goalpost. We've seen how that went when they had it at the front of the front of the end zone. Shit is hilarious, dude. Guys running cross routes
and
just run
right
straight
into
into it. And like it's
it.
bad. It's always bad. Like it's never good because it's a solid thing. Like there's not supposed to be nobody is solid on the field. Like there's give to everybody. Like if there's fucking the ground, there's another player, there's something like there's nothing solid because that would cause some fucking problems. Like
there is a good amount of padding in the wall. Like I'm talking, it's I mean, yeah, I mean, it's that 4 inches thick. 3 to 4 inches thick in solid padding that they take those shots into in arena. So it's that part isn't as bad, but for normal hits, because like I watch guys catch pass, take a hit to the midsection into the wall, and they're fine.
yeah,
I mean, you know, that's for them, that's a normal football play. But you take those higher end shots that you really don't see very often, when they happen, are more devastating because of the wall. And that's
absolutely.
and that's
Because there's that solidity there.
there
And like
should be a slightly wider field to play for them for that reason, because I feel like that space could give them the ability to protect themselves a little better.
and the walls don't move. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like the walls also don't move, so like they can't inflict a hit on somebody. It's just they're just gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like so there's that part too. So like it's arguable that a guy running full speed at the other dude is going to be able to hit him harder than the wall will ever be able to hit him. But it's just the awkwardness of being solid that scares me as far as like, just injury wise and everything. Just like it's not good because you're not planning for that to just be stopped directly in your fucking tracks. So Lane said the sad thing is high school football has bleachers on the opponent's side. Yeah, they do. Right behind the fucking right behind the visitor players. There's always like little bleachers, usually on a track. It's usually on like a outdoor track.
Dude, at Cameron, they didn't have them on both sides. They had them just on the one side because the other side. So up at Cameron, like it's got the track around it, like you see at a normal high school field, and then they've got like the skybox for the coaches and stuff that sit up there on that side because the announcer box is where this is with the stands. They've got like the skybox for that, and then it's a fence and a road. Like that's it.
That's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much a regular high school stadium. Like that's a pretty standard. Like what Lane's talking about is a common thing for sure too. Like when they have them on the other side,
yeah,
and it's always like smaller bleachers. Like they're always like the tinny small ones that you get at like ballparks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like college, obviously they'll have the two sides usually. Like they'll have the one.
That's fully wrapped around, just like you see in NFL stadiums. For most
sometimes a lot of them are double. Like so, take the Cameron High School stands and flip it on the other side. It's the same thing. That's a lot of college stadiums, dude. Like that's a lot of college stadiums.
I don't know. I'd have to see Mo West again. I can't remember. I think they've updated it too, so I could be wrong. But what was really funny was I remember. So when I was in high school in Cameron, or when I was in high school in St. Joe, there was the Catholic school, Bishop LeBlond.
Yep.
Their stands were nicer than Missouri Westerns.
Yeah.
The Catholic high school had nicer stands for their football stadium than the D2 college.
Bro, it's so weird that you mentioned that because I was about to tell you about Fall City Sacred Heart and Fall City. Legendary fucking program. Okay. They play D2, grant you. So like their enrollment is fucking very, very small. Like they have like they go K through 12. There's one school. Everybody who goes there, okay? So like there's like 100 kids total out of all kindergarten through 12th grade that all go to school there, right? So you're looking at like 5-6 seniors total, like total kids, like not boys or girls, right? But like, and they built a new basketball stadium inside of their campus, which can only be described as a 1-block segment where a school is at. And there is a monstrosity of a basketball stadium in the middle of this thing, dude. It's like it can only be described as a small theater auditorium was made into a full-sized basketball court with stands. With stands. I mean, these things are fucking. It's an intimate venue. If you're gonna positively spin it, it's very intimate.
Very intimate.
Like, I'm talking, you could probably whisper into a dude's ear if he's inbounding it. Like you could just be right there, like, what's up, sweetheart? Just right behind him. Just right there. He's just right there. Like Cameron. It's like Cameron Indoor where they're fucking waving the hands at him and shit. Like that's how it is everywhere. Like it's ridiculous, dude. Like it's craziness. It's really nice. It's really nice. But like shout out Sacred Heart. They got fucking like, dude, they have like so many fucking state titles. It's ridiculous. There's like a sign driving into Fall City that's like Sacred Heart. It's like championships, and they have like different sports and they're all like lined up. It's like 92, 94, 96, 97, 98, 2001, 04, 07, 08, 09. Yeah, like Doug Goltz, their fucking coach, has like the most titles of any. He's just like the most winningest coach of like, he's like the 6th most winningest coach in Nebraska history at this point. Like 800 some wins. Guy looks like he's fucking 50. He's got to be in his 60s. He looks like he's 50 years old. He's going to do it until he's 90 probably. He's their athletic director and their coach at this point. Like, so like they were just like, yeah, here's the keys to all of it. You're pretty good at this. Here's all of the, just do your thing. Like just keep winning them titles. We're liking them titles. Keep winning them titles. Like he just does everything. He's like, yeah, I'll keep winning the titles. It's nice. It's nice. Good place to be.
I feel like when it trying to actually get back on topic for a change, we
both have ADD really bad, huh?
Really bad. Somebody really should keep us on task here. I was hoping that we were gonna have a guest tonight. She could have kept us focused.
Right.
But that did not happen. But no, it's as it relates to football, I think that we see longevity out of running backs a little. I think we see a little bit more longevity out of running backs. I think we see, I don't know. I feel like we might see less open field issues. You know,
there's more injuries. There's gonna be more injuries.
You think there's more injuries?
Yeah.
How come?
Because of bulk. Okay. If you do them correctly, okay, maybe not. maybe we could get like a Lance Armstrong type situation where his legs are bionic and all that shit. But
Right.
like, I think that you're going to get a lot of like, so say they're hypothetically they're done correctly. You're probably right. There would be less injury. It'd be more of like but like in reality, how they're going to be done. And like, that's, and I think that's all we've ever said about it is like, if it's regulated correctly by team doctors in a supervised way, in a correct way, then they would be beneficial. Yeah. And I would love to see these dudes do that, but I kind of just want to see them do them illegally too. I kind of want to see them like watch the 90s in Major League Baseball. Every guy
90s, early 2000s
looked like the dude from the fucking cover of the Big League Chew. You know what I'm talking about? That's what every dude looked like. Smashing himself into some double XL pants. Like Barry Bonds was just covering up, like Sammy Sosa was just covering up his fucking arms with elbow pads because he was like, fuck, if they see these things, they're gonna know. He's like, fuck, man, I'm so vascular. Need to get out of here. But like, yeah, if they're done correctly.
Hit 21 home runs in a 22-game span during his home run chase season.
And did that stupid little fucking hop after every single one. Like, I used to do that. As like a kid. Like, I would like do like the hop, try and I had my swing where I'd try and touch my other foot like he did. Like he would touch back. He had that step where he would fucking come back and hit his other foot and then step forward. This huge leg kick, basically. And like, yeah, I tried to do that. Not happening.
The dumbest thing I ever did while rounding the bases is one of the 3 times I hit a home run. It was my second home run I ever hit. It was.
I thought we were going on something completely different. You said rounding the bases. I was like, "What's the dumbest thing you ever done rounding the bases, Tony?" Goddamn.
That's why I had
stories on you for that one. No, I guess.
Yeah. It's not an impossible topic for us, but not where we're at right now. No, right. Dumbest thing I ever did while running the bases. I was in Little League. I hit a home run, and after I got to second, I did like I was kissing the cross necklace and doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even Catholic.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I did the same thing, bro. I used to like in football, I would like tap the back of my helmet and be like, yeah, like looking up at the sky and shit like that. And I was like, the fuck am I doing? I don't even believe in that shit. What am I doing? Am I doing it because am I doing it because I think God wants me to do it? Like, I don't even know who that dude is, man. I'm chalking up all my hard work to this guy. I have no fucking idea who he is. But I just saw other people. Yeah, we watched all these guys do. That was such a huge deal, especially when we were growing up. Like, that was such a huge thing. Like, that was always what they did. All of them, it seemed like, and they were just doing the same thing. You know, half of them were doing the same thing as we. They just saw somebody else do it, thought it looked cool, and they were like, "Yeah, God help me hit that home run." Like, they were just doing it too, right? They were just going on for the ride, just like we were. But yeah, I was so weird about that too. I was always just like, "Yeah, man, fucking, woo, yeah, Jesus." And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on right now. Like, he doesn't care. If there is a Jesus, he don't give a fuck about my football game. I'll tell you that much. There's so much other shit than a random Nebraska high school football game for this dude to worry about. Like, it's not a thing, guys. Even you pros, like even you fucking pros, just stop it. Just stop it. If there's a God, we're clear at this point, he has better things to concentrate on. Like, your sporting game is just like a thing to keep you busy while he tries to work in the background. Like, you're like a little kid that like comes up and talks to him. He's like, no, gotta go. Daddy's gotta work. Like, that's like, don't put that on him. All right. Don't put that on him.
If God cared about sports, Penn State would not have had a successful football program for 20 fucking years.
Neither would Notre Dame. But seems like those two are doing all right, doesn't it?
Okay.
Michael Jordan wouldn't even be close to consider the GOAT if God had anything to do with sports.
Not if anything close.
Yeah.
Oh man. But now I think that steroid use in sports. Now, first of all, it needs to be regulated. I legitimately look at it like I look at cannabis. It should be regulated. There should be, reasonable limitations on certain products. Obviously, yes, we're okay with steroids. We're not just blanketing everything. If it's not safe, why are we going to why are we going to subject the athletes to that? Just because they can doesn't mean that they should. So I think that, there should be reasonable regulations within the professional sports based on what's needed, not using anything during the season, using appropriately under the care of a team doctor. I think those are all reasonable ways that you can regulate it to level the
You,
playing field. And
you,
everybody, kind of like what we've talked about with the sticky substances in baseball. Everybody has access to the same shit, but we need to open the scope of what shit they have access to use,
or close the scope.
or close it, narrow it to specific things.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly might just be like a thing where they should probably just pitch the fucking ball and not have shit on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if you have to have shit on your fingers, kind of like using stickum, it's kind of like oh, you can't pitch normally. Like,
It's
but once everybody's doing it, then you have to, and that's the biggest problem that this would create, is that the guys that choose to do it are gonna be ahead. They're gonna be ahead of the dudes who aren't doing it, and the guys who aren't doing it are gonna have to do it to keep their job, and it's gonna force them, even though they wouldn't have wanted to do it. They say they wanted to keep it on a level playing field as far as just biology. I get it. They're gonna have to, because they're not gonna keep up. They just won't. I love that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's what I was laughing at a second ago.
fucking great.
Yeah.
No,
BYU in those Cavs up there.
here's
BYU.
here's what I say about sticky stuff. And my experience isn't just because of, obviously being a batter, but also playing catcher. When you're on the other end of having to catch that 95 mile an hour fastball, 95 plus mile an hour fastball,
You almost don't want them to have the other hand.
you want to know exactly where that ball's going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And when and for guys like Nolan Ryan, and you see in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, like, location was important, but they weren't throwing with as much speed. That's
No.
why we weren't getting as much speed, because they were more focused on locating. Well, now you have to have speed and accuracy.
Yeah.
That is extremely hard to achieve with rosin and sweat.
Can you guys stop it, by the way, with the Nolan Ryan threw 103 miles an hour bullshit? Can we stop that? Nolan Ryan did not fucking throw 103 miles an hour. Come at me. Come at me with whatever you want.
Between 92 and 95.
That motherfucker never threw an 100. I don't think he ever threw triple digits. I'll say, for all you know, Ryan, I fucking think that's a bunch of bullshit. I think he's a fucking Paul Bunyan. I think it's a Paul Bunyan story is what it is. Back in the day, Nolan threw 108. He threw an 108 mile an hour slider.
It reminds me, the Nolan Ryan thing reminds me of, and I say this as a Sox fan, there's the Ted Williams hit. They call it the Ted Williams seat that's out in the outfield in Fenway Park. It's supposed to be where he hit a 485-foot home run.
Motherfucker never hit a ball at 485 yards in the air. He never did.
There's no way. There's no way.
Mickey Mantle's 560 foot, where the fuck do they call it?
Exactly.
Where it rolled into like some fucking parking lot like a mile away. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, literally, a kid missed that on the top section of the stands, and it fell over the fucking outside of the stadium, and then fucking probably rolled down there like, oh, it's the ball. It's the ball. It's over here. It's like, no, it's not. It didn't fucking happen. He didn't hit that far. Like, if Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge can't hit a ball that far, Mickey Mantle and fucking Ted Williams ain't fucking hitting the ball that far. I'm sorry. I don't care how good their form was. I don't, because
they have tried in Fenway Park using guys like David Ortiz and Mookie Betts to get a ball hit to the Ted Williams seat. If David Ortiz can't do it and Mookie Betts can't do it,
it's not. Yeah,
you can't tell me that Ted Williams could hit farther than David Ortiz.
No, absolutely not.
I'm sorry. As a Sox fan, you go fuck yourself if you're going to sit there and tell me that Ted Williams could hit the ball farther than David fucking Ortiz.
I'm going to be God honest with you. Ted Williams looks like my accountant. Like, he looks like a guy who just lives here, who just kind of like walks around. Like, he was not, great form.
Yes, thank God for StatCast, because we don't have to worry about that crap anymore.
Fucking bullshit. Like,
and that's, I mean, and maybe if we get steroids, we get open steroid use in baseball, it's maybe we actually see that happen, but in like 10 years or something, once it's consistent and all of the crazy shit has happened that happens anytime they change rules like that. But you can't tell me that shit happened. There's no fucking way. But when you look at the sticky stuff, that's the difference between locating 100-mile-an-hour pitch in the upper inside corner, exactly where you want it to make it impossible to do anything with,
Right.
and hitting that guy, that batter in the fucking skull with a 100-mile-an-hour pitch. That's the difference, and that's why I'm okay with sticky stuff.
It is, but at the same time, like either one of them are just like boost ups. They're not an actual skill. Like
Right.
The sticky stuff and steroids don't make you play baseball better. They just
No.
give you a little bit of a boost on top of how good you already are at baseball. Like, trust me, I was really, really strong when I played baseball, and I could not hit a fucking ball to save my fucking life. Like, I just couldn't hit it. I just wasn't good at baseball. It didn't matter how fucking strong or how far I could hit a baseball. I couldn't fucking get in contact with it in the first place.
Because
You still
you
have to
have
hit the
to be able to
motherfucker.
see the ball.
Yeah,
You
have to
have
hit
to
the
be able to
motherfucker.
see the ball. And with the recovery in baseball, yes, they've done a lot for the recovery of people that have had to get Cy Young, or sorry, Tommy John's. I don't know why I said Cy Young. For the pitchers that have had to get Tommy John surgery. But we look at guys like Shohei Ohtani, arguably the greatest baseball player on the planet right now. Shohei, we are now robbed of an entire year of seeing Shohei pitch in his prime because he had to get a second Tommy John surgery. How much does having this recovery aid, especially with the fact that they play 162 fucking games and only get 3 months off before they're right back at it?
Yeah.
How much would a recovery aid like that help pitchers like Shohei, like Chris Sale?
It absolutely would.
And that's my thing with it.
I completely agree with you. That's what we've always agreed about. Like, is that if you're gonna, there's different kinds of steroids, by the way. Like, if you can take ones that are for like bulk. You can take ones that are for like cutting, as they call it, like making yourself lean.
Mm-hmm.
You can take ones that are for endurance, like Lance Armstrong was doing. You
Right.
can take ones that are for just muscle regeneration. So there's a lot of different things going on here. I mean, obviously bodybuilders are going to use the bulk ones, the cut stuff, and like that's not good for athletes. Like that's not, the bulk and cut ones are not good for athletes because that's not a real athlete. No offense to bodybuilders, but like you're not real athletes. You're a show athlete.
Here's and I used to, and I will say this, I used to be the exact same way about bodybuilders, except good friend of mine,
they're not real athletes. I will say that. We'll go that far.
Listen, let me explain.
Okay.
Good friend of mine, his name is Michael Wittig. He plays bass in Pillar, the band that does the intro the intro and exit music for First Generation Dad. He is, when he's not working as a musician, he is a full-time bodybuilder, but he does everything all natural. The division that he has to complete in, they have to take multiple tests. When he's cutting for a show, he's doing it completely natural. He works out.
He doesn't actually, so he doesn't win. Got it.
He's 7 titles.
There's a joke.
I mean, but they're all doing it the same way. So,
right.
That's the thing, is he competes in all natural events. Like you can't take any of those things. You can't.
Where's the fun in that, Tony? Is my real question there. Because like, isn't that like having a V6 Mustang? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like having like, why would you just go full out and just get the old, just got to go V8 full out bodybuilding fucking madness, like Flex Wheeler just out there looking like a walking thigh muscle, just fucking.
Hold on,
I'm not gonna fight him because I'm sure he's huge, but like.
Just a second, I want to get to his. I'm trying to pull up his. Hold on, let me get some photos here because
They have a thing like called Mr. Natural Universe and shit like that, like Mr. Natural. So like it's more like they look like actual dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like they're huge, but they're fucking rich as fuck.
So
they're like actual dudes.
I'm gonna share this screen real quick, and this is and this is him. This is competition, so he doesn't look exactly human. You're gonna have to forgive him on
Got the
that.
bronzer on and shit.
Yeah.
Good. That's natural. So
Yeah.
that's what they would call a natural look. So that's like the natural bodybuilder look. He looks like so he's cut as fuck. He looks like a normal dude though, sort of. When he's
Yeah,
like
like
in street clothes and shit, he looks like a normal dude, sort of. Like he's still
yeah,
fucking huge.
minus the bronzer. And that's
Right.
like, and he used to actually even do tanning beds instead, but he had a melanoma. And so he won't go anywhere near that stuff anymore. He only uses a spray tan right before the show, so he gets that bronze, because he takes extreme care of his body. And so people that do it like that, because of the amount of work that they have to do to maintain that,
For
I will
sure.
acknowledge them as athletes. But what like the
Yeah.
Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympiad and all this crap that we have, where they're not doing it that way, fuck those guys.
So let me just clarify, and I'm not being. I meant they're not these dudes aren't. He probably is, but like the natural guys are. But like Flex Wheeler and those dudes are not out fucking running 40-yard dashes.
No.
They are not. They are not running at all. Is what they're not running. They're not running at all. Like there's not a running to it. Like they're just big, like can't wipe your ass looking motherfuckers. And that's
Right.
and they're incredibly brittle, I'm sure. Like they're huge and they would, they're fucking very strong, but like they're very brittle. They're not flexible. There's no actual athleticism. And that's what I meant by like not an athlete. Those guys train fucking out of their gourds, and I respect them for what they do, honestly, but that's not a sport to me because it's almost like you're taking everything that you would want out of a sport and like accentuating it,
That's
like
fair.
putting it on steroids, no pun intended, and like putting it on steroids and like making it like a thing, like where it's, oh, let's just overdo it, like let's make it a fucking circus with our athletic traits and make them like a sideshow, and it's like that's not really what it is.
And I think that there's a baseball equivalent to this as well. If you look at Mark McGwire in the early to mid 90s versus Mark McGwire when he went on that home run battle against Sammy Sosa. What was that? 2001? No, it was 99.
97.
Oh, 97. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark McGwire in the late 90s, early 2000s looked like you said, the guy on the big league chew, or the baseball games when you could make it funny in the extra skins you could get like that.
Yeah. Or like Big League Baseball. There was a game called Big League Baseball where they were all caricatures.
Yeah.
They were all caricatures of players. Yeah.
That's what they looked like.
Yeah.
But and to that is too much. But if we can take, if we can open up the ones that are actually can be very helpful for, repair, regeneration, stuff like that, I'm okay with that. Because not only is that going to help the athletes immensely, they don't deserve to suffer in pain. They don't deserve to suffer in pain any more than necessary. But think of what we could use with that information. Think of the data that we could use, and individuals with physical health issues that may be able to actually find relief through some of these substances if used appropriately. That's
absolutely.
I mean, the professional sports, in my opinion, has always been about pushing the human condition and showing the elite levels of what it can do in extreme situations.
Yeah.
Why aren't we pushing the envelope with what that means to not only increase the entertainment value of the product, but use that information on the back end to help other people that can benefit from it in their everyday life?
I agree with everything you said there, but I'd also say this. It's easy for us to ask for guinea pig trials when we're not the guinea pigs.
But it's clear that there's things that are going on behind closed doors anyway.
Exactly. And it's already happening. And clearly it's working in a lot of different forms, right? Because LeBron James has been linked to steroid use. And I've said from the beginning that I from the beginning have said, before any of this shit came out, that LeBron has a team of scientists that live in South America in a jungle, and they just take his DNA and constantly analyze it and try and figure out what they can fucking give him to make him more of a freak and just make him keep going. Like they're going to get this guy up to like 46, 47 playing 25, 6 and 6 on the NBA floor. Like that's what they're going to do. They're gonna make him into like he's gonna be Karl Malone for the next 18 years.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna have a 38-year NFL or NBA career. He'll retire when he's 56, and the second half of his career will be Karl Malone's exact career. It'll be like career 26 and 10, like just rolling out there, just fucking like that's what they're going for, and like they're getting pretty close to fucking doing it if you haven't noticed. But like, yeah, he's still like he's still like all time great, and he's 40. But like, yeah, they're just having he just pays him. And Tim Duncan played for what 20 seasons, 19.
I was gonna say it was 20 years.
Played all with the Spurs, I believe. Yeah, all with the Spurs.
I'm gonna look at that. I'd say it had to have been 20 years.
He got drafted in 97. He was part of that big 97. No, sorry, 98. He'd have been part of the 98 draft, not the 97 draft. The 97 draft was Kobe and Iverson.
It was 97 to 2016.
Okay, so 97. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah.
So 19, so 20 seasons. Yeah,
96 would have been the fucking Kobe, Allen Iverson. Yeah, it was 96. Yeah, okay. So yeah, he was 1 year after those guys. Wake Forest. I mean, Duncan was a freak. Duncan was that dude. Duncan was always that dude, that guy with the long knee-high socks on, and that beats you at the Y when you're playing at the Y, and he beats you by fucking shooting free throws and banking in elbow jumpers. And that's Tim Duncan's entire NBA career encapsulated. It works so well. You ever played fucking a bunch of white guys at the fucking YMCA who know how to play together? That's Manu and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan just out there fucking being the least athletic dudes in the NBA, just killing people. Like just fucking killing people. Like Mano's nose is getting called for fouls and shit. Like that, like it is ridiculous, dude. Those guys were fucking crazy.
You forgot about Tony Parker.
No, I said Tony Parker. Yeah,
I said Tony Parker. You did? Okay.
Kawhi is who I forgot about. Kawhi and Robert Horry and fucking bunch of those Derek Fisher, and those teams are fucking crazy, dude. How about Boris Diaw towards the end of that fucking run?
Oh my god,
Boris Diaw towards the end of that fucking run. Avery Johnson was on those early teams. David Robinson, obviously the Admiral. Fucking salute.
I mean, but again, we're gonna try and get back on topic at some point. But with with the NFL and baseball, we can use this. And you want to be a professional athlete. You want to create those moments. You want to create those plays. I think if you put and I fully expect that there are some guys, I'm all natural, I'm not going to use that stuff. Okay.
Then you're not going to play.
Cool. You may not get a career. And oh, well, that's not how it used to be played. Right. Well, the game 100 fucking years ago was played without helmets, without cups. When they finally did add helmets, it was leather.
Yeah.
Leather. That was it. Now we have padded helmets, or quarterbacks and one player on defense have a headset in their fucking helmet.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about the that's not how it used to be played. The game evolves. Yeah. That's just the way it works.
It's gotten more violent for every player on the field besides the quarterback. So like if you protect yourself like Patrick Mahomes does, like if you know how to protect yourself and get down and shit, dude, you could play 25 years. You can play 25 fucking years as a quarterback because you ain't gonna get touched.
There's going to be, so Lane said, and I'm going to have to read this out loud because otherwise it's just going to be quiet and weird. There's going to be one thing that stops all of this. Pharmaceutical company who wants their share or sponsorship deals for those who use their steroid products. No, put it on. No, patch it up. Patch it up. Patch it up. Patch it up. Let the, every player gets one sponsor patch that's specific to them. If it's going to be that pharmaceutical company, guess what? Team gets to share the money, player gets to share the money, everybody's happy.
Well, I think Lane's operating under the fucking assumption that this is clandestine. This shit's out in the open, bro. We're doing all this out in the open. Like there's no secret backdoor pharmaceutical company deals. I'm talking these guys are doing Pfizer commercials, shooting themselves in the ass on camera. Like I'm talking like Yeah, I like Pfizer steroids and they fucking just shoot themselves in the ass like that. It's going to be that open. It's got to be. If
And
everybody's going to do it, it has to be that open.
and that's why you and I think that that's what it circles back to. Like, let's at least try to make sure that there's a point out of this and that we can try to gain some data that where we can use these substances to more effectively help people that would actually benefit from their existence, their addition to their treatment plans to improve their quality of life. Because grand scheme of things, professional athletes making millions of dollars over their career, they're going to be all right regardless. But
Sometimes.
for the most part, but unless you're, somebody like Antonio
Javon
Brown,
Wilshire.
who, um, you know, thanks to Vontez Burfict, will never have sanity, or remember to pay child support again.
That's fucking
Uh,
perfect. That's perfect, Tony.
it's
It's
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
But if we can, we've already realized that we can use the information that we get about concussions from the NFL to help people that actually experience concussions, like in workplace or car accidents and stuff like that, and how to treat them. We can apply to the same thing to steroid use.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people are given steroids every day.
Yeah.
My girlfriend just got a steroid shot today for something completely unrelated to her playing professional sports because she's never going to do that. Yeah, they give steroid
Trying to
shots
get
to
her
help
penis to
bodies.
grow a little longer. Is that what she's doing?
What's that?
Trying to get her penis to grow a little longer. Is that what she's
Yeah,
doing?
it's a big clit. It's like a little
Is
tiny penis. Yeah,
it?
same thing. I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
hey,
duh.
well, if it
Fucking
works,
yeah.
tell her I need to know what she got because I'd like my clit to be a little bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't,
Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't want those extra couple centimeters,
I mean, hey,
It makes all the difference.
I'll take all I can get.
Makes all the difference.
Um, and if we open this back up, my ultimate point to steroid use is this: is we open it back up in professional sports, Barry Bonds finally gets the fucking credit he deserves.
It doesn't
So does Mark McGwire.
There's not one issue in sports that makes me more fucking angry than Barry Bonds not making the Hall of Fame. It is fucking a travesty.
It is.
That is the biggest. Like, we're talking about a dude who many of people, including myself, have called the GOAT of position players. Like, I think he's the greatest hitter to ever live because I saw the 2004 season. If you guys don't think Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame, if nobody thinks he should be in the Hall of Fame, I don't give a fuck if he was on fucking Buku, fucking HGH, the Pfizer of all steroids. Go watch fucking the 2004 season and tell me that guy didn't make a bigger impact on any team than ever. That doesn't come from steroids, you fucking morons. You fucking morons. That has nothing to do with steroids. Nothing. Did he hit a couple more home runs because of it? Probably. Was he scarier looking and maybe intimidated some pitchers? Probably. That doesn't hit you 73. It doesn't bat you 360.
Nope.
It doesn't walk you 124 times.
Nope.
It doesn't have you on base 555% of the time. More than half of the time.
560 is his on base percentage. It was 560, wasn't it?
560. It was ridiculous. I want to say it was something stupid like 8.5 or 9.
I honestly, I think it was harder than that. I'm going to check baseball stats.
Bigger than that. 16? Something stupid. The dumbest season that any player's ever had. Offensively, there's not even, somebody can throw me a second one. I guess Ronald Acuna's year last year on paper looks pretty crazy.
Fun fact, his career WAR, Barry Bonds' career WAR is 162.
Jesus.
That's
okay. Top 5 all time. It's got to be right.
So, what was his WAR for this season?
I bet it was like between 8 and 12. 6. I mean, that's so much. Well, Judge's fucking 63 homer year 2 years ago was like, he was like fucking, I think his was like 9.5 or something like that. So if you're thinking about like Bonds has got to be over 12, 11, 12.
It has to be. And I can't see, and I'm not seeing Baseball References show. I wonder, hold on.
Individual season WAR.
I wonder if
that would have been going on, but they would have definitely done it. But Bonds also had some issues with like he had some testosterone issues. You can tell by his voice. If you listen to him talk now, he was always kind of soft spoken, but now he's got a little bit of a, it's like he has a higher voice. I think honestly, I think his levels are kind of fucked up. I mean, look at Bruce Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner. If you don't think all of that is caused by steroid use, that's 100% caused by steroid use. His hormones got fucked by him. His estrogen levels after he was done using steroids skyrocketed, and his fucking testosterone was plummeted through the floor because it was so high. He couldn't stay naturally that high, so it plummets. He's not competing anymore. Why would he do testosterone anymore, right? So he's gonna have problems with chemical levels. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in his brain. It's gonna happen in his body. Yeah, he's an extreme case.
I cannot find his WAR for that season, but it had to have been north of 10. There's no way it wasn't.
Right.
There is no way his WAR was not for that season was anything south of 10. It couldn't have been.
So Babe Ruth has so Barry Bonds was 11.9, and that was 2001. I said 2004. I'm sorry, that was wrong. 2001 is what I meant. The
2001. Okay.
The 73 home run season, I believe, was that was 2001. That's my
at 2004 was the 45 home run season, but he still hits 362 that year with 101 RBIs in 147 games. So 135 hits across 147 games. That's an average of almost a hit a game. You will fucking take it.
And he wasn't getting hits, though, is the thing. Like, he was just getting walked and hitting homers.
Yep.
Hitting bombs and walks. And like he ushered in the new era of the three player, but he wasn't. He was just a freak. Like, he was like Shaq at that time. Like, they just throw it in the post to him and let him work. The top 3 highest WARs, by the way, in a single season, all 3 Babe Ruth. George Herman Ruth. 28, 23, and 21.
Interesting. That makes, well, I mean, his contributions to the game versus the talent level he played with, that wouldn't surprise me if he was putting up numbers like that as far as WAR is concerned. That's one of the reasons that I have a hard time with WAR as a stat. I get why some people use it as a reference point, but I've seen players have a season with negative WAR. They were still really good. It was still a good season.
In 1923, Babe Ruth had a 1309 OPS.
Good God.
He slugged 764.
764?
He had a 545 on base percentage. He batted 393. He hit 393 with 41 homers, 130 RBIs, stole 17 bases just for shits and gigs. Walked 170 times.
I would feel like a failure as a catcher if Babe Ruth stole on me and it was anything other than a wild pitch. Right?
And he was just out. He got caught stealing 21 times. He just got caught in the middle. Like, he was like deer in the headlights. He was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going. He's drunk.
Oh shit.
I'm going. Okay. We can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up, man. I'm sweating like a whore in church here.
Have you heard the sorry, just real quick, have you heard the fucking shit about Babe Ruth being fake? There's people that think Babe Ruth was not real. That Babe Ruth was a ploy by basically like the media so he hit homers and shit. He was a real guy. Okay, so I'm not saying he's fake completely, but they're saying like footage. They would put him into, but here's the thing. They recorded that footage very, very carefully and would put him into late game situations, and he would not play every day. They would often fill out his stat sheet when he would not play. He would be playing poker drunk, and the Yankees would just win. And they would say that he hit in the 3 slot or the 4 slot, and they would say he went 3 for 4 with like 2 homers, and they just chalk it up. And then when they were in big games like the World Series and shit, he was that good. So they would just like roll him out there, and he would just go have an at bat, and like it was like a huge deal. And so he calls his shot, and at that point he calls his shot and does that, and everybody thinks he's a fucking superhero. So they're seeing in the paper that this guy's hitting 2 home runs a day, and nobody blinks an eye, right? That he's going 3 for 4 and doing all this shit. And like, he basically wasn't playing every day. He was just like kind of like he was DHing a lot and like not taking all those at bats, and then they were like filling in different shit. It's actually not that weird of a theory if you think about it. Like it's not that weird.
I mean,
I know. Start mulling it around a little bit. You're gonna be like, oh fuck,
it's
it's not that weird.
it's it is though. It is though. And the reason why I say that is, first of all, there is a lot of footage of Babe Ruth playing baseball.
I'm not saying he didn't.
So, there is, there is that, but if people's responsibility were to fill out stat sheets when he was drunk and gambling, that would have come out by now. The other thing is that I think that a lot of people forget about baseball. Baseball as a league, and especially at that point as teams, did not give a single fuck about their players. If you weren't acting exactly right, doing everything exactly as you were supposed to be, you were gone.
But his greatness comes Great Depression era, World War I. People need a fucking distraction. They need a hero. They need this guy to come. Like, it's just, it works if you're going for like, yeah, exactly. We're classy. We're classy in New York, baby. Classy in New York, baby. Actually, they do allow facial hair. It's so you can have mutton chops. Nope, you can have mutton chops, a mustache. You can't have any chin hair, is what it is. So like every facial hair combination for dudes of the modern day has a chin hair segment to it, right? The American Dream, I guess, doesn't, but you're just a fucking joke if you were an American Dream. So like you can do mustache, you can do mutton chops, which nobody does mutton chops anymore either. That's not cool.
Because it looks horrible.
It's terrible. So like it's just mustache, or you can't have any, and they need to get rid of that shit. That's some old school fuck. It
doesn't make sense.
That's some George. It's some George stuff. That's some George Steinbrenner stuff. He was a weird guy. But like he was a weird dude. He was just a very like, man, we still do it like it's 1951. Like my daddy did it because he had billions of dollars and now I have billions of dollars. And that's how George works. But like it's not how the world works anymore. But like they need to get rid of that shit. But I kind of like it because it's like it distinguishes us. Because you got the Red Sox, you're just a bunch of dirty scoundrels. And then you got
really we're gonna do we want all of our players to look
like they hate women?
My favorite pitcher, Spencer Strider. Do we need a bunch of pedo stashes running around? Or porn stashes running around.
Fucking Spencer Strider.
That is so fucking bad. It is.
Spencer Strider looks like a GI Joe. He looks like a GI Joe doll. Like
he looks like a Super Troopers character.
Yeah, but them quads though. Them quads though. Fucking Thighzilla, bro. Thighzilla.
And for those of you watching, let's be clear. I fucking love Spencer Strider as a pitcher. I pounded the desk for him to get Rookie of the Year. He fucking should have got it. Fuck you, Michael Harris.
That's weird. I mean, I get it because they're going for like position players. Like when I think Rookie of the Year, I think position player. But like they definitely need to do a rookie Cy Young is what they need to do. It needs to be
absolutely
needs to be called the Tim Lincecum Award. or the Dontrell Willis Trophy would be awesome.
I think that's a good way to pay respect to an older African American player that a lot of people don't really think about. Like, if you know baseball, then there's a pretty good chance you know who Dontrell Willis is. But the casual fans, you say Dontrell Willis, like,
who the fuck is that?
What football team does he play for?
Flash in the pan, dude. Flash in the pan. Fucking crazy talent. That high leg kick. He was flashy. It was the whole thing. He was like left-handed El Duque.
He was. I had because like I had heard his name before, but I didn't really know much about him. And then, funny enough, on MLB The Show 23, I got one of his cards, and I was like, who? And I actually looked into him. I was like, oh, this is insane.
Who?
Dontrell Willis.
Oh God, yeah, dude. I was a fucking huge fan of the Marlins team. That 2002 Marlins team that won the fucking World Series
or something like that. Yeah,
dude, that lineup was.
Lane probably knows. He's a Mariners fan.
Dude, that lineup was the Marlins lineup, 2002 Marlins.
Oh, Marlins. Sorry.
Would have been Dontrell Willis, Hanley Ramirez, Miguel Cabrera playing
Yeah,
third.
Miggy was on that roster.
How about Pavano? Carl Pavano was their ace. Todd Jones was their fucking closer. That dude had the fucking handlebar mustache.
Dude, that mustache was epic.
Todd Jones. Who else they have? Juan Pierre was on that team.
I want to show a picture of Todd Jones's mustache because I love it so much.
Yeah. So 2002, or I think with 3 or 4 would have been one of those years. Would have been the Marlins fucking year. That was Dontrell Willis and yeah, all those guys.
Oh, fun fact. Todd Jones is in the the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Of course he is.
I need to show. I think it's for this mustache. I really think it's for this mustache because
it's a badass fucking handlebar, bro.
It is.
Those are ape hangers, is what we call those. That's an ape hanger right there. Oh yeah,
man. Look at that.
That's not even as sexy as he got it either. I mean, he's really playing it down there. He's playing it down there.
That's when he got a little older. He calmed it down a little bit. He got sick of just getting attacked by women all the time because of how sexy he was.
Because, like, I mean, if you're gonna rock the handlebars, you have the biggest dick in the room. Let's just say that. I'll definitely give you that. Like that is a strong decision. It's a strong decision to rock the old handlebars.
Relaine brings up a good point here. Matt Carpenter.
What about him?
Like that
killed it. Killed it.
That he did kill it. He really did.
That was a fucking legendary stash. That thing's fucking legendary.
It was so bad.
It is 03. It is 03 Lane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he was right.
So let me get you a roster here real quick, just before we go. Real quick roster review on the 2003 Florida Marlins. This is how random it got tonight anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Josh Beckett, there's one I forgot.
Oh my God.
AJ Burnett was their fucking setup guy. Mark Redman, love that name. Dontrell Willis. How about Pudge fucking Rodriguez was their starting catcher?
He was okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Dude, Ivan Rodriguez, fucking starting catcher. Luis Castillo, Derek Lee, Mike Lowell, Alex Gonzalez. Sorry, Juan Encarnacion, Miguel Cabrera, Juan Pierre, Todd Hollinsworth. Dude, they were fucking loaded. They were loaded.
That is the 2024 Dodgers of early 2000s.
Back then that we didn't know, right? Because listen more. Brad Penny, Carl Pavano, Oogie Urbina.
Oh,
Tim Spooneybarger coming out. Mark Redmond. Dude, they're fucking loaded. Loaded.
That team was so ridiculous. And then the Marlins haven't done shit since.
No, they've
not
had
a goddamn thing.
They've had Jazz Chisholm and not a whole bunch else.
I like Jazz Chisholm though. I
like Jazz Chisholm. He couldn't play second base. No. That was his thing. He could have been a left-handed hitting second baseman. Then he's something special, but he's still a great player. Good player, but he's a center fielder now. So, Tony, I got to piss about as bad as you can fucking possibly be able to piss right now. I want everybody to know.
Go ahead.
That I have to pee. No,
For those of you that have joined us tonight, thank you. We are here every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Jamie Moyer.
Dan and I talking some of the hottest topics in sports, not related to the actual game itself. Just kind of talking about shit.
Just being out there, man. We're just being ourselves, man.
If you are a female sports fan and you have the interest of moderating to brackets and sunglasses, we are accepting applications.
Especially if your name is
if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, sound off in the comments.
I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of concerns about what happened tonight.
I don't know. If somebody watching should probably
she's watching 7. She's watching you.
But if you have any thoughts, sound off in the comments. We might discuss them next week.
Thanks, Lane.
Thank you, Lane, for being in the comments.
You're great, Lane. I gotta go pee.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming out or tuning in. And we will see you next week right here on Sports Report After Dark. Have a good night, everybody.